At the round table this morning, Angela Rasmusan.
Good morning.
Is that close?
That's Rasmusan.
Rasmusan.
Yes.
Rasmusan. Okay. I'm sorry, Angela.
No,
it's important
okay.
to get the name right.
It's hard to get.
But it's important. If you walked out, as I did this morning, this was on my car. I didn't know that Angela was playing a little trick on me this morning. Did you have one of these on your car?
No, she was nice
So
to
I walked
me.
out and I'm trying to go to the office. And I go, towing notice on my car. So anyway, no, seriously, if you get one of these, you have done something wrong. And we're going to find out what this is all about. Seriously, we have Angela with us today at the round table. And we want to talk about code violations and why in the world that we need a code department. And so just right off the bat, you know, what is the purpose of, I said health department. I think code department is the term. What's the official answer, Angela?
Well, we are code enforcement, and we exist because it helps promote the health, safety, and welfare in a community. And we help protect property values, and it just enhances the quality of life in neighborhoods.
Very good.
So what are the top 5 violations that you've seen?
Well, right now, certainly high grass and weeds, and that's typically our number one that we deal with every year. And then trash and debris, parking in the yard, inoperative vehicles, and open storage.
Open storage. What's open storage?
Open storage is if you have something outside that typically belongs inside.
Okay.
Such as like a couch in your yard or
Yeah, but to watch the eclipse, you need a sofa in your front yard to watch the eclipse. What's wrong with that?
some people do like to get really comfy. We recommend buying outdoor furniture.
Well, I appreciate Sarah's question to Angela, the top 5 code violations, because I looked at a report that Angela had put together, and this is last year's statistics for 2016 to 2017. High grass and weeds, there was 2,600 cases. Trash and debris, there was 2,300. Parking in the yard, 706. This is last year, a 12-month period. An operative vehicle was 365. And then that open storage, your couch in the front yard, if you will, 273 cases. So that's the breakdown of the stats regarding those 5. How does that, now that was last year's, how are we doing for this year? Are the numbers up or?
The numbers are definitely up on the high grass and weeds. We've had a really wet summer, and that grass is growing so quickly. I mean, people are needing to mow 2-3 times a week sometimes just to keep up with things. So currently, since April 1st, we've worked 1,960 high grass and weeds cases. So,
And I guess that's something that we don't figure in the equation, because if it's a typical Enid summer where it doesn't rain,
right.
so the grass doesn't grow and the weeds doesn't grow, that you know it doesn't have that impact. But you're right.
Right. Usually by August, we're slowing down a little bit and just picking up the weeds that continue to grow in people's yards. But right now, there's grass everywhere, so we're busy. We have 3 people that are out in the field working property violation cases. So needless to say, they have a lot of work every day.
It does sound like a lot of work, Angela. I know you mentioned those 3 people that are out in the field, but how many employees do you staff, does your department staff to get all this job done?
Well, I do run both the property inspection side and the permitting, but just to deal with the property inspection, right now we just have those 3 individuals. Typically, we've had a 4th, but this year we're operating with 3. And
Because if you do the math and you add up, there's over 5,000 cases.
Right.
So 3 individuals at the City of Enid offices handling 5,000 cases.
they're very busy.
That's why they're very, very busy. Well, we talked a little bit about the sofa in the front yard, which I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But anyway, can you explain the meaning then of this trash debris violation?
Okay.
Let's say it's a new sofa. No, really. Trash debris violation. What is that?
Trash and debris is any item or any form of matter that's discarded out in your yard, curbside. We've all driven by and seen the piles of trash, even waiting for solid waste to come by and pick it up. Once you put it out there, you do have a violation. We do offer a service within the City of Enid where solid waste will come by and pick that trash and debris up, but you do need to call them. They're at 7300, so give them a call so they can arrange for your pickup. And also, if you have it out waiting for a pickup, be sure you bag it so it's not loose and blowing around the neighborhood, because your neighbors will call us. They don't want your trash in their yard while it's waiting for a pickup.
I know Sarah has more questions. Let me throw this in there real quick regarding the trash and debris. When I was driving into town the other day, it looked like, I guess, a home had been emptied. Maybe it was a rent home and the people had left, but out in the front by the curb was a mattress, half of a coffee table. I mean, it was just a mess, but it was on the
Right.
curb. Does that fit this definition of trash and debris, or?
Definitely.
Okay,
Definitely.
because I
Any
kept
matter
noticing each
that's
day I'm driving
discarded.
by, it's still there. And so
Right.
if that's not called in, is it going to stay there until solid waste is notified?
No.
Okay,
If the citizen doesn't make an effort to call it in, we will go out and we will post it as a violation. You'll get one of those orange signs. And within 10 days, we need to send a notice after the posting, and within 10 days, we can come and clean that up.
And I just want to add something. Working with Angela when working in the solid waste department, they do work very, very hard at making sure that the city is as clean as can be. There's work orders that don't get called in, and after they do their work, they still contact solid waste, and solid waste still goes out there and gets it. So there is a process on getting the customer to take ownership in cleaning that property, but if they don't, they're always working together with another department, which is solid waste, to make sure it
Yes.
gets done.
very good.
Yes,
Which
we
is the
always try to
ultimate
help.
goal. Right.
Right.
Was that? Did I interrupt?
No,
Did you have
perfect.
anything else, Steve?
No?
Okay. Can you define the inoperative vehicle violation, which I believe would be
That towing notice.
that towing notice?
Yes,
Correct.
yes. If you have a vehicle in the open that others can see, it needs to be operable. So that means currently licensed, no flat tires, no hood popped up, engines out, parts all over. If you have a vehicle that doesn't operate, then you need to find a place to put it, a garage.
What if it's on the side of the house or in the backyard? Am I safe?
Not if it can be seen.
Okay.
Not if it
That's
can be
the
seen.
key, okay.
Yes. For any violation that we work, we have to be able to clearly see it from a place that's legal for us to be, which is a street, a drivable alley, or if a neighbor calls us and says, hey, my neighbor's yard, needs some attention, can you all come out? We can go out, and if we can see it legally from that individual's yard, then we can work it. We cannot stand on a ladder or peer through holes in people's fences, though. It has to be legally seen.
Okay. Well, we referred to the rainy season. If we had basically during the summer months, and so we know that the high grass, and I mean, our own yards, we're mowing a lot more than we normally do. But there's areas that are just kind of difficult, or maybe the homeowner is out of state, out of Enid. They're not aware of the high grass during the summer months. But on the winter months, how does things change for the code department? We understand grass isn't growing in November and December, and it's just freezing cold and stuff like that. But are you just as busy? What's the difference for the code work during those winter months?
Well, we take a deep breath and go after the summer, and because it is really busy during the summer. But then during the winter months, it is typically a little bit slower, but we handle other types of cases at that time. We go through our areas. Each inspector is assigned to an area, so they go through their area. They make sure they haven't missed anything that should have been worked during the summer. And we also take that time to assess people's properties as far as the conditions of their houses themselves. Do you need to paint? Does your roof need some attention? Is there an accessory building in the back of your yard that's falling in? We address those type of issues during the winter. What we try to do is send people notices and let them know that, hey, probably next spring, summer, you need to think about making some repairs. So.
Very good. Thank you, Angela. I actually was not aware that you guys actually stayed on top of that too. So that's great.
Yes.
In the backyard of, I know you were talking earlier about if you can't, you only address what you're able to see.
Right.
So what would be the case if you have a resident calling in and complaining about the mess that his neighbor has in his backyard? What can you do or can't do in that
If they,
situation?
Because you know it's an eyesore for the neighbor,
right.
but
If they
yeah,
have
tough call.
It is a tough call because sometimes people don't understand if you have a privacy fence, we can't do what you maybe do as a private citizen, which is peer over into your neighbor's yard and see their mess. We can't legally do that. So we have to have some way to clearly be able to see that. So
Okay.
it's a challenge sometimes.
Angela and her staff do a tremendous job. Again, over 5,000 cases. To again, as the code enforcement exists to ensure that all neighborhoods and properties are maintained, protecting property values, and to promote health, safety, and the welfare of the city of Enid. That's why we have Angela and why we have her fabulous staff. So this has been very enlightening. We're out of time this morning, Angela. Goes quick, huh?
It does. It went fast.
But this is very informative. Thank you so much for joining us here at the round table.